Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It is January 1st. We're going to do a show first of the year. We're getting it all out there. We're making it happen. And what better way to do this than to belly up to the bar with a friend of mine, someone who has found a way to save my business and make it more profitable. So I figure this would be a great opportunity for everybody else to meet someone, to learn about something that if you own a business, we've all talked about, which is SEO, search engine optimization. Does it work? Is it worth it? All those kind of things. So joining us from the great white north of Albany, it's Miss Darcy Knapp.
Hey, Sean. Pleasure to be here.
Do you have snow already again out where you're at, Darcy?
I think it's all melted now, but we're supposed to get some more tonight, so it'll come back.
Yeah, Darcy's like 45 minutes from me and ends up with like 3 feet of snow when I get a dusting. And I'm at the bottom of a mountain, so I ain't figured it out. She's just that little bit on the other side of the valley, so she gets all the snow. And we'll talk about maybe some snow in a minute, but let's get into some housekeeping here. As always, folks, over my right shoulder, it's the big board for Sticker and a Cause. If you have something you're supporting, maybe you have your own small business, you have a band, you have a podcast, you wrote a book, I don't care what it is. You can reach out to me on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever it's being called now, TikTok. Our website is theabovethebarpodcast.com, and our email is abovethebarpodcast@gmail.com. Reach out to me. Let me know what you got going on. I'll tell you where to send the stickers to. I'll read about you live on the air, and we'll put your sticker here on the big board for Sticker and a Cause. But now we also got to talk about paying bills around here. And the people who pay the bills around here are Budget Blinds of East Greenbush and Budget Blinds of Hudson and Coxsackie, New York, and Budget Blinds of Schoharie. North America's largest custom window treatment company. They handle everything from shades, shutters, blinds, drapery. They can do tint, you name it. They've got an option to cover your windows. You can hear them say if they can't find a way to cover it, there's still always a good roll of duct tape will make it happen for you. Anything that they need to. So if you reach out to them, and in the month of January, their sale is they're doing 20% off your window treatments plus an additional 5% if you motorize things. So they've got some good options out there for everybody to get those windows covered. And as always, folks, if you mention to them you're there to belly up to the bar, they always take care of you with an additional 5%. It's Budget Blinds of East Greenbush and Budget Blinds of Hudson and Coxsackie, New York. Make sure you reach out to them. I know Darcy knows them very well. She's got Budget Blinds in her house, don't you, Darcy?
Yes, I do.
They work pretty good, don't they?
Yep, motorized in the living room is great. Just push the button.
Yeah, see, I tell people all the time, once you've got motorized shades, folks, here, if you're ever wondering, well, why should I have motorized? Going to motorized shades is like when you went from that green screen Nokia brick phone and then you went to the Razor flip phone. That was kind of like going from corded to cordless shades. But when you go from that Razor to the first time somebody said to you, hey, man, you really should get an iPhone. And you're like, I don't need all that smartphone stuff. And then you got one. That's the real game changer. That's when you're like going from a Razor flip phone to a smartphone. That's getting that in there. So make sure you're calling Budget Blinds of East Greenbush, Budget Blinds of Hudson and Coxsackie, New York, and Budget Blinds of Schoharie. All right, Miss Darcy, all the house cleaning is done. Tell your husband I said hello. I see his arm like come through the virtual background every so often, just getting a little bit closer. Tell him I said hello.
Sean says hi.
Hello, sorry.
Always welcome. So how are you, Miss Darcy?
He's the one that loves the automation.
You can't beat it. Once you've got it, it's a game changer.
It is, yeah. That's his favorite thing because we face due west, so the sunset comes right in, and you can't see the TV for the glare. And yeah,
once you drop that shade down, it's a different animal.
Different world.
That's that. Well, you know, I think everybody knows I own the budget plans, but who knows? But I can't tell you. I had a customer recently. They thought, well, we're going to build our house facing south. It'll be a great idea, and it is. It keeps the house warm, everything, but no window treatments for 14 months. And in 14 months, it destroyed their hardwood floors, bleaching furniture.
Yep.
People just don't realize how quickly the sun wears. We're going to get into this though. So we're talking today about, is SEO still a good marketing strategy for your business? And there's nobody I know that can answer these questions better than Miss Darcy. So, and to give you, if you're thinking I'm full of soup, let me help you out here. In Albany, we consider this a cult, but most of you would call this a college. She has her BS from Siena. Siena is a cult in Albany. If you're in the capital region of Albany, Siena College is a cult. People like graduate and then find ways to go back there to work just to be back there. Would you agree, Darcy?
Yeah, the full-time students, yes. I was a commuter, so
say
they didn't get their hooks in too deep.
And then you've got your MBA from University of Phoenix, Google AdWords certified SEO presenter at certification by Network Solutions, marketing, automotive search marketing presenter, social media Facebook workshop presenter, and 20 years in online marketing and web management. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, I've been doing digital since before it was popular, before anyone understood the web.
So you were an early adopter. You saw the value in it.
My first sales meetings were with car dealers. I was in the automotive industry, and I had dealer principals telling me, "It's okay, honey. It's just a fad. The internet will go away."
How much did you love it when they called you honey?
Oh, that's the gentler words. Yes, car dealer. But you're talking 20 plus years ago.
Yeah, but the Darcy I know probably would have stabbed one of them in the chest with a pen for calling her, for saying that.
Well, when you work with car dealers, you learn not to hear things.
Gotcha.
Their vocabulary is a little bit flowery. Yeah, I just don't speak French. It's okay. Say what you want to say. Sign the contract. Let me out.
But sign this and move on.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Let me help you sell some cars because you don't understand where the next generation of car sales is coming from. They get it now. They didn't get it 20 years ago.
Well, now it's their entire business model. They have salespeople that are specifically dedicated to you clicking on something and calling you up and getting you to come in. That's their only world. So you early adopter, but I help people understand, what is SEO.
So SEO is a process by which you're gaining credibility with the search engines. And in this case, we focus on Google because the percentage of the world that uses Yahoo and Bing and DuckDuckGo and Dogpile and all the little teeny tiny search engines and AOL all add up to less than 5% combined.
Wow.
So we target Google. Google's got more than a 95% market share. So you want your advertising dollars pinging those 95%ers that are going to be your next customer. SEO is not dead. It's very different.
What do you mean?
So SEO, if you go back 20 years when I started doing SEO, getting on page one was all that mattered. And all you had to do to get on page one was put your ducks in a row, put the right words in your meta, and poof, you're on page one and you got 90% of the traffic. Today, page one doesn't exist on a mobile device. There is no organic listings on page one. You put up a search, page one on a mobile device is paid ads. Page two is paid ads. Page three is Google Maps, which includes paid ads. Page four is FAQs. You have to literally go through 5 screens to get to an organic listing. So you need to look at your buying cycle. Is your customer doing research, or are they just going click and buy? So the amount of time, energy, and dollars you put into SEO really depends on what it's going to take to get that consumer to click.
Hold on a sec first. So I don't even know if I realized that you had to go 5 pages deep
5 screens.
before
You have
you
to
hit
scroll through
organic.
5 screens on a mobile device. And right now, mobile's about 75% search share in just about every industry.
Oh yeah.
Some industries it's much higher.
I would bet if I looked at mine, I'm probably in that 75% or higher number. I can't imagine too many of my clients are doing more than just go on their phone, search it. And I like searching on my phone. And this might sound lazy as heck, but because when I do need to fill something out, my phone's got all my contacts, so I can hit autofill, let it fill my information, so I'm not going SECWN
Oh, and
merge.
if you're buying, you do Amazon. If the store you're
Yeah.
buying from, it takes Amazon checkout, it's swipe and go.
Yeah. So I mean that makes perfect sense.
So you have to look at what's your buying cycle,
Okay.
what kind of device, and you can look at your Google Analytics to find that out. What kind of device is your average customer using? And then you target accordingly. So SEO isn't dead, it just isn't what it used to be.
So I want to roll back for a second then. So when we're out there and we're searching and we're looking, I don't think people understand that first 4 pages of everything you're looking at, somebody has paid to be in that location.
It's pay to play. So
That's
on a desktop, so if you go back, let's say 10 years.
Okay.
10 years ago, Google would run 1, 2, 3, or 4 paid ads at the top of the page, and then there would be organic. So the literally from, if there was no paid ads running on that keyword, you could be first on the page. You could be number 1.
All right.
There is no more number 1. Number 1 is paid, number 2 is paid, number 3 is paid, number 4 is paid on every search.
Huh.
So you have to look at your SEO budget, combine it with SEM, and you let your pay-per-click leverage your position.
So SEM is what then?
Search engine marketing. That's paid search.
So that's the pay to play side.
Pay to play. So you have to figure out what's the life cycle of your sale, what device is your customer using, what's going to give you the best bang. So if you only do organic and your customer, so let's say you're a dog trainer. Dog trainers are awesome. I handle them across the country. They are 95% mobile search.
I can see that.
So when you have an audience that's 95% mobile search, their dog just bit the mailman and they have to get a trainer or they're going to lose their dog. I'm buying it today. I'm going to start tapping from the top down until I get somebody that can take my dog and fix my dog because I don't want to lose my dog.
Right.
Okay, so when you look at the Google landscape, dog trainers is a big category. There's no licensing there. To call yourself a dog trainer, you just need to call yourself a dog trainer. There's no governing body.
Okay.
So you've got a lot of competition.
I don't think I knew that.
Oh yeah. So now let's say you want to run ads. Google has the Google Guarantee program. Those ads run first, positions 1 and 2. Then Google Paid. Those are the next 4 positions. Then Google Maps, which can have a paid ad. So now you're 3 screens deep in paid before you get to anything else. Not to mention you also have e-commerce. So if you're selling dog training products, Google Shopping's on page 1. Little squares that you can tap and buy things. So there's so much placement on page 1, page 2, page 3 for paid ads. You have to hope like hell that person's going to scroll down. And in most cases, they just got to get the dog to not bite the mailman again.
Yeah, they're just looking for that first couple. So pausing this for a second. So going back to somebody who, if you do own a small business, and look, folks, I'm talking with Darcy Knapp. If you're curious of what Darcy's got and you want to talk to her, I've sent plenty of people over to have conversation with her. You can go to SEO, just like the letters, SEO, web mechanics with an S at the end of it.com. And Darcy's happy to sit and talk to you and explain things to you. Oh God. See, and then you can get things like this, and Darcy helps me avoid them, where people, want to manage my channels or reach out and all that. But
any unsolicited request to sell you anything, just delete. I don't care if it's a text. I don't care if it's an email. If it's someone you do not know, do not even answer.
It's not the juice isn't
It's
worth
not
the
real.
squeeze.
It's not real.
Yeah. So, but going back to this for a second. So, as a, I don't know what makes is I'm more curious about as a consumer, you know, should we be concerned then that the first several pages of our search are people paying to play? Should that concern us as a consumer?
Yes and no. I mean, it makes for an awful consumer experience if you've got a fake person out there, but there's very few fake people that can run ads because Google is all over verification. You have to verify your business. You have to verify your identity. I mean, you're not going to be a scammer placing a Google ad. That's why the scammers are calling you and sending you text messages.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the big concern is look at the reviews. So you're going to go hire the plumber, the lawyer, the attorney, the dog trainer, whatever you're going to hire, look at their reviews. I don't care if they've got the ugliest website. If their customers are willing to write reviews with their name on them, that's what you're looking for more than anything. And you have to look at the nature of search. So, I mean, 65% of all Google searches, and you're talking 8.5 billion searches a day worldwide.
How many searches a day?
8.5 billion worldwide. 65% don't result in a click. They're not going to your website.
They're doom scrolling for.
They're just getting a phone number. You have to remember, Google is the yellow pages now. When was the last time you got a new phone book? Way before COVID.
Yeah.
I don't print them anymore.
Yeah, no, I couldn't tell you the last time I even thought about a phone book. Is that even somebody told me that there's still a yellow page. That's a weird one. Just a complete left turn for a second. Like, how did the yellow pages miss out on being the search engine? How is that possible?
They weren't smart enough they had such big egos that they're the yellow pages. They don't need to be anything else. They have yp.com and nobody goes there.
Yeah.
That's
a wild one. Just as I'm thinking about it, just from that comment, I'm thinking, how is it possible that what growing up as a kid was such a powerful entity in our lives? That book showed up and you knew how to search it, and people, we name our businesses. So that's why, if you didn't know it, folks, there's so many businesses that are AA or A plus or triple A. It was so you could be at the front of the phone.
As a salesperson in the 80s, my back seat of my SUV was full of phone books. You took them with you.
Yeah.
Now, this is my phone book now. It goes with me everywhere.
Yeah.
And it takes up a lot less space.
Absolutely.
And you put it in an OtterBox so they can get wet. Those phone books, when they got wet, you had a mess.
Like, oh God, especially if it was a rainy day and they put your phone book out. Somebody was mad as could be because the whole front of the thing was all gooped up and everything. Or
people steal pages out of it, and now you don't have the information.
Oh, well, that's like in the old TV show. Somebody would rip the page out of the phone book in the phone booth. So then, what?
You have to look at Google. You have to look at the search engine as the yellow pages.
Okay.
So people are using it for addresses, they're using it for phone numbers, they're using it to look at reviews the way they used to look at big full page ads. Less than 35% will actually click on anything that includes paid ads. I mean, they're not using it to click, they're using it to get their data. And it gets even worse. 50% of the people doing the search are talking to their device. They're not typing.
Yeah, that's me.
So that changes the whole vernacular of search.
How does that change?
Okay, so your pipes just burst.
Okay.
What are you asking your hand compared to what would you have searched for on Google? On Google, you would have just searched for a plumber if you were typing it in. If you're talking to your hand, I need an emergency plumber that can repair a pipe right now.
Yeah, you're giving it a full conversation.
Oh, yeah. So when you look at SEO, it's a totally different animal. When you look at optimization, totally different animal. Now what you have to do on your website is create those questions so you got a shot at pulling up on the FAQ section of Google with the question and the answer.
I didn't even think about that.
Mobile's changing everything.
That's such a difference when you think about it like that. Hey Google, send me blah 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 blah. Blah. Oh, I see mine's.
Yeah, it's not pizza near me. It's where can I get a New York style calzone? And if you've got the search words in your website and you've got it going on, you're going to get that search. And people don't care if you're 40 minutes away or 30 minutes away or next door. If you've got what they want, they're done searching.
Yeah. So what about for somebody, those of us that are out there and we're putting SEO and SEM together, for you and in your industry, are you seeing any shifts where, like, I catch myself doing this and I don't know why I do it. When I see the word sponsored, I ignore it.
Oh, I can tell you why.
Why?
Okay, so go back 20 years when search engines were young and you clicked on one of those ads and your desktop got covered in pornography.
Oh, yeah.
Or worse, you got that virus that put all the pop-ups on your computer that you couldn't get rid of.
Yes.
That's before there was any kind of security. Like I said, Google, you want to run ads today, you got to verify your business. You got to put your driver's license in, verify yourself as a person, give them your firstborn and your bank account. Get through it all, you can run ads. It's a very different world. And then the Google police will then police your ads. So depending on what you're trying to advertise, personalized health, you get flagged. I got a dentist, her ads get flagged every time. She's a dentist. There's nothing scary. It is what it is. You can't do alcohol, tobacco, firearms, and live animals. Google has morals. So if you're a cigar store, you can do Yahoo and Bing. They'll take your money.
Interesting. Well, remember, I was getting ones flagged for political, and I wasn't doing anything political whatsoever.
No, but all it takes is one of your guests to use a word that gets mistaken for something political, and all bets are off.
Yeah, they'll do it again. And it's actually not as bad now once the election was over.
Right.
It kind of almost like they throttled it back, and we're like, all right, you can talk like adults again. We'll throttle it back.
Yeah, the Google police are challenging. Usually most of what they police is correct. A lot of the times they don't like somebody's business name and they're flagging it because it's the business name.
So what do you do then as a business owner if you do have, like, I remember there used to be a restaurant in Baltimore similar to like Hooters, but it was called the Big Pecker. And it was a rooster with a big... What do you do if you do have one of those type of situations? Is there a way to reach out to Google and say, no, I'm real, here's my DBA, something like that?
You put in a ticket, you fill out the forms, you attach your documents. The advantage of working with the Google Premier Partner Agency, we have all the designations. I have a rep. I have an assigned agency rep. I have like 5 of them, but I have one main agency rep. So if I have a problem, I go, hey, Ray, I got a problem, and I kick out the ticket to them, and usually 24, 48 hours, it's resolved.
That's interesting because you hear that sometimes for those of us that have used other agencies or using agencies, you'll hear them say like, hey, I know you're used to dealing with Facebook and putting an ad out there and it gets kicked back. We have direct contact. Is that... Well,
Facebook now, anyone can get direct contact. They'll talk to anyone.
Really?
Google, yeah. Google has a $3,500 a month threshold. If you're not spending at least $3,500 a month, you're not going to get a rep assigned. You're just going to get whoever answers the phone. But they will talk to you. The Google Ads department, you get a lower echelon player, but you can talk to anyone. Any advertiser can talk to Google.
But they'll talk to me then.
It's not scary like it was during COVID. You can actually talk to people again.
Adults talking to adults?
Well, yeah, they're in third world countries and they may not be adults, but okay.
All right, we'll go with it. It's good enough.
But you can get a person on the phone.
So then, if somebody...
I mean, the whole point of using an agency versus doing the DIYers, the do-it-yourselfers, if you think you can manage it yourself, great. Pay me for an hour, let me clean it up. Because I guarantee you're taking Google's recommendations to heart and saying yes to them. And those recommendations are only there to blow your budget out. They're not there to get you more business.
Folks, and I will speak for Darcy as a customer and a friend, that I was that guy that I was like, yeah, I got my Google optimization at 99.9% or 100%. And realizing that it just was like, hey, you can get another 3,000 impressions if you raise this budget by $20 a day. And in your mind, you're like, $20, that's not bad. Oh, wait a sec. I just blew $600 just for more impressions. It doesn't get you anywhere. I would probably tell you, honestly, my optimization score now is probably like a 75, 79. It's not very high for what Google wants, but I get better results and better contacts. And I know my contacts are real. But let's talk about that DIY person for a second. They're like us on the podcast side, where it's like, hey, I don't really have a monster's budget. I'm trying to build something. What are some of the things from an SEO standpoint, or even SEM, if they want to go that far, that you would say for a DIY, person who's trying to do these things, that they can do to protect themselves and not blow their budget out?
So let's look at SEO first. If you're a local small business, as long as your site's properly tagged, you don't need to spend any money on a monthly basis for SEO. You don't need it. You're throwing money away. No.
Now, when you say properly tagged, what do you mean?
So we look at metadata, which is behind each page. It's not a very expensive process to undergo to have a professional do it, or you can do it yourself. There's plenty of online videos. Go on YouTube and type in how to optimize my website. They'll give you lots of tutorials, free. You might not do a great job, but you'll do a good enough job. So if you're the guy in Albany and you're selling plumbing supplies and you put into your metadata plumbing supplies Albany, you'll show up. Make sure you put New York, because there's 7 Albanys across the country.
You'll end up in Albany, Georgia.
Yeah, you're not going to beat Home Depot. You're not going to beat Curtis Lumber, but you'll be on that page somewhere. Yeah.
It'll at least get
buying links and buying blog content and trying to build your SEO is not going to change. You're still never going to beat Home Depot. You're still never going to beat any of the big players. The big boxes, because of the way the Google algorithm has been since the last 5-6 years, the big boxes are coming first. You're not going to beat Amazon. You're not going to beat Walmart. Stop trying. Don't play that game. You have to look at your industry. So segue out. So my business is SEO web mechanics. I look at myself as the mechanic. Let me do the diagnostic. Let me give you the recommendations. If you don't want me to do it, you want to do it yourself, that's fine. But at least let me point you in the right direction. Because most people get pointed in the wrong direction and end up spending 20, 30, 50% too much on their SEO or on their SEM, and they don't get the results they think they should for what they're spending, and they're not. They're not going to get the results because it's not being done right.
Well, that goes into another subject when you talk about not being done right. There's a lot of companies out there, and Darcy's probably seen other financial models for them, but I know some of the models I've seen where they'll tell you, hey, we'll set up your SEO, SEM, we'll set it up for you, we'll get it all situated. You're going to pay us anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month plus 10% of your ad spend. And what that means, folks, if your ad spend is $10,000 a month, you're going to pay them an additional $1,000 a month. And then what you have to understand, though, and I would love to hear some more your feedback on this, is one of the things I learned is having someone like a Darcy or whoever else you find. Listen, I think she's the best at it that I've ever seen, but having somebody else that can go in and look at your stuff and diagnosis will make a big difference. But some of these companies, you correct me if I'm wrong, that ad spend is based most times on impressions, correct?
No, your ad spend is dollars spent.
Okay, but they spend the dollars based on impressions, I thought. But how does that part work?
No, okay, so Google, Yahoo, Bing, it's all a pay-per-click environment.
Okay.
So your ad spend, if you're going to spend $10,000 a month, the average agency fee is 20%. So you're going to give the agency $10,000. They're going to give Google $8,000 and spend it as quick as they can. So they can come back to you and say, give me more, because they get 20% of every time they can get you to give them more money, they get a raise.
It's amazing how that works, isn't it?
That's, again, blame the yellow pages because they're the ones that started it. They just didn't do well with it because they don't pay attention to the details. They don't learn the business. The bigger companies, not only do they get those hefty fees, but your ads are being run by some third world country person in Manila or the Philippines, and they don't know your business.
And they don't know your area, your footprint.
They don't know your geography. They don't know the culture. They don't know, they don't know that Taylor Swift just came out with a new album called, The Blinds Have Been Opened, and every search for blinds is for Taylor Swift, and you're getting those clicks.
Right. And you're paying for Taylor Swift's clicks. Yeah.
Right. So you have to have somebody understand who you are, what you do, where you're located, and what is your ideal customer looking for.
So it's really not very cookie cutter at all.
No, everybody's different.
So
you can go back to my dog trainers. Like I said, I handle dog trainers in probably all 50 states at one point.
Oh, wow.
And very common. Dog training, dog trainer, dog obedience, canine training. Top level keywords. But you have to do exact match. Google will tell you to do broad match, get more reach, get more frequency. You're going to get served on anything with the word dog in it.
Right.
Yeah. Dog watch, dog t-shirt, dog commands. Where can I buy dog food? All of a sudden your ads are running and people are stupid. They just click because you were first on the page. They don't read, they just click. So you need to make sure if you're going to be first on a page, you're first on a page for the right keywords, or you're just throwing money away.
Look, folks, if you're just joining us and you've got questions for Darcy, maybe you're looking to do something with yours, or you have a podcast. Like I use Darcy to help me get my podcast out there. We've seen an absolute increase in our viewership on YouTube. Or you want to reach out to her and set up a time and have her look through your ads and look through your Google ads, you can reach out to her at SEO Web Mechanics with an S at the end of it.com. She'll let you know all about it. What are some of the things though, Darcy, that if somebody's prepping that battlefield, they're getting ready to go see somebody like yourself. Maybe they have somebody in their local area. They're here in the capital region. They're like, hey, I need Darcy to fix me. I'm jacked up like a football bat right now, and I need somebody to fix me up here. What are some of the things they can do to prep the battlefield to make their own lives easier, which in turn makes yours easier?
Usually on a first meeting, we're going to sort that out. What should they already have in their pocket? They should know where their domain is. Who owns it? Do you own it? Does your web company own it? You should own your asset. Where's your hosting? Again, do you own it? Does someone else own it? Where is your Google ads? Do you own it or does somebody else own it? Most of those third-party companies, they own your account. You leave them, they cut you off. You can't take your keywords with you. You can't take your account history with you. It's kind of important to know what you have going on. Who owns your website? Are you leasing it from a third party or do you actually own it?
Darcy, who owns my website? Do you
own it? You don't own your website. The corporate, the podcast site you own.
Okay, I'm just checking.
Yeah, your corporate site is owned by Budget Blinds. You don't own that.
The corporate site. I was just making sure I own this one. I wasn't.
Yeah, you own yours. You have your own hosting account. You own all your. I don't want to own anybody's crap.
I just had to double check.
It's the worst paperwork to have to slog through. I'm not a fan of paperwork, but the worst is a dead webmaster that owned all your crap. And then you got to try to get it back. Oh, it's not fun.
Oh, like when you say dead, like physically, like
dead. Yeah.
Like croaked over.
Yeah. And then you got to get driver's license, passports, corporate paperwork. You got to go to jump through hoops. Thank God it was GoDaddy. At least it was USA based people to get your domain back because it's in his estate and you can't get it.
Oh, okay.
You can't even renew it.
So you're saying this like this has happened.
Yeah. You need to own your own crap.
So that kind of like sidebar here as I'm thinking about this and you're saying things like that, is there a way, like what am I thinking of here? Like, is there I know GoDaddy, you can get your websites and all that, and I know you've built mine and you put my stuff together, but is there like a one-stop shopping for any of those kind of things?
Yeah, so you can go to whois.com and they'll tell you where your domain is registered, when it expires, where is it registered, when does it expire, and it'll give you your name servers. Then you have to go to what'smydns.net. Here, I'll put that in the chat. What's my
Let's see. So I'll add that to the group chat.
Yep, I put them both in chat. What'smydns.net will give you more data. It'll give you your MX records, which is where your mail lives. It'll give you your A record. That's where your hosting lives. There's a lot of public information out there. That's where all these spammers are getting your phone number to send you all those emails and texts. It's just public information.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, fun stuff.
See, and that's it's interesting you say it, because as soon as we created the website for folks, we started seeing an entire different group of people being like, hey, we heard all about you. We'd really be interested in knowing more. How do we do? And I'm like, where the hell do these people come from? Like,
yeah, and then the email addresses are .ru and .pr. Yeah, no, they're scammers, and they've never looked at your website. They just bought your name off a list because you got a registered domain, and they just start spamming you, and they're just phishing. They're looking for your credit card.
Yeah, that's a definite. Listen, folks, here I'll give you one. If somebody comes to you and says they can get you more organic Instagram followers, do not do it. First off, even if you're like, it worked for me, 99.9% of them are bots that are going to go away. And once Instagram or any of them figure out that you're using bots, they're then going to slaughter you and freeze your account and be like, you're using bots. We don't want you around. So avoid that.
There are ways to legitimately buy followers. There are sites out there. I can give you a couple that you can buy through. You just have to make sure you're buying people. And you have to understand that these people are 99% in India, and they're never going to buy from you. You're just buying them to blow up your numbers.
What is that thing I saw, Darcy, where it was in China, and it was like a whole wall of cell phones? And it was like they had one controller, and they were logged into a bunch of sites, and somehow they were able to be like,
well, they're just scamming. They're just trying to scam. That's a whole. So when you look at the internet overall, the biggest industry coming out of this year right now for growth is hackers. It's a $1 trillion industry.
With a T?
With a T.
Oh my God. Why am I going to work every day? What am I doing wrong?
Well, you have to have a whole, fleet of people in North Korea or China that do nothing but send out those spam emails and hope to get a fish on the line.
Listen, I'm $1 trillion. $1
trillion industry. Yep.
Darcy, that's crazy. $1 trillion.
You know that prince in Nigeria? He made a few $1 billion last year.
That dude was amazing. The prince in Nigeria. Does that one still go out? That one?
Yes.
No.
Yes, I've seen it in the last year. Yep.
Listen,
but what you're getting now are people who are getting their emails hacked, and so they'll hack your email, Sean, and they'll look at Sean's list of friends and family in the address book. Then their AI will read all of your emails and construct, and they'll send an email to me saying, "Hey, Darcy, this is Sean. I'm traveling this week. I need a gift card."
My mom.
Oh yeah.
My mom just got the gift card scam, and she bought the gift cards.
Hopefully, she didn't give them away.
She did, and worse about it was, it started that she personally called Amazon about an issue, and it was an Amazon employee that took her information and passed it.
Yeah, that's awful.
And
hopefully they can track it back.
Well, what they said, and here's an FYI for everybody who's listening, if you've dealt with scammers before, if you go and you buy them gift cards and you give them the gift card number, there is nothing anyone can do. You did it, you purchased it, you sent it. She was able to protect her personal bank account information. The banks were like, nope, we got you covered. They did some things, but any of that gift card stuff, that's why they do it, folks, is the gift card or untraceable. it's a scary situation. So, and that kind of also, and I know we want to talk about SEO, but how then, if you are running these things, how do you protect yourself from companies that, you know, what's that? I'm trying to think of how it used to be presented to me. Like, you deal with these big monstrous SEO related companies. Like
The
I'm
average
not
the average
important.
small business isn't dealing with the big companies.
Yeah, like you're not important. I'm not important enough to you because I'm too small. How do they avoid getting caught up in those cycles then?
Look at the contract. When it's a 12-month no escape clause lock contract, you have a problem.
Oh,
When it's 90-day renewal signature required every time, that's just so the sales reps can come out and earn their commission. I mean, look at the contract terms. Look what you're going to be obligated to pay if you walk away. Look at the exit fees. You'll know right away if you're in the wrong place.
yeah, those companies don't like me, Darcy.
Oh, they don't like me either. I
They
take
don't.
a lot of their business. My contracts are all month-to-month terms. You want to leave me, just let me know.
Well, they don't like me because when I've spoken to them and they're like, yeah, so it's 12 months. You're locked in with us, and we'll go ahead and take it. I'm like, yeah, I don't want your business. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm not paying you for 12 months. I'll pay you month to month, and if I don't like it, I'm leaving. We don't do that. I'm like, okay, you don't get my business then.
Well,
And then
there's a reason they don't do it. They don't do it because they want to take their commission up front. They want their commission every month. They've already spent it before by the time you get to your third month, it's all in their pockets.
and they've
And
forgotten.
the poor guy in India doing the work for $3 an hour doesn't know your business.
I have one of my vendors right now that I deal with, that I do a ton with, and they tried to get me with this whole 12 month thing. I was like,
Yep.
I'm not giving you 12 months. And it was like magic when I just told them. And guess what, folks? There is no such a thing as 12-month guarantee. They're trying. If you ever have to do anything, they're like, it's guaranteed 12 months. You have to sign for 12 months. Tell them to go pound sand. I promise you, it'll be like magic. Then it'll go to, okay, 90 days. 90 days. No, I will either pay you this month, and if I don't like it next month, I'll get rid of it. And then they'll be like, fine, but we're going to change the terms, and be like, no, you're not. I want it like this. And it's like magic. They'll just be like, well,
They'll cave.
They'll be like, I'll talk to my manager. And if they don't cave on any of it, you did the right thing and you saved yourself in the long run.
Yeah.
And then you just call Darcy, and Darcy will fix it for you.
And if you're talking to someone who has to talk to a manager who has to talk to his boss, you're paying a lot of commissions.
Yeah, everybody's got their hand in somebody's pocket there.
It's kind of a scary industry if you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah, well, all of this. Look, folks, we're talking about marketing. We're talking about SEOs. Is it still viable? Is it still a good option for people? I'm going to tell you it is. It's all a mesh system. That's the best way I can describe it. It's a mesh system. It all fits together. And we're getting close to closing up the bar here. We got about 15 more minutes, 17 more minutes here. If you have questions for Darcy, you want to know about, hey, even if you're looking to put a website together. I know how many of us out there had a Firefly website. Remember, is that what the name of it was? Was it Firefly?
Dreamweaver, Front Page.
There's another one. Now everybody's WordPress. But what are some of the things that, like, if somebody was looking to do that stuff? I had a buddy who had another podcast, very successful podcast, and somebody hacked his server. He had a personal server. And
yes, first off, no personal server. Oh my God, no.
So why not?
Because you're going to get hacked.
There's no way.
GoDaddy got hacked 4 times in the last 14 months.
And they're a monster company.
And they're a monster.
So what do you do?
There are a lot of different things. We put everybody on SiteGround because they give you site lock, they give you free SSL, everything's encrypted, malware protection. Something hits your site that shouldn't be there, we get an alert. Done, it's clean, you never even know it happened.
Yeah, have I ever been hacked? No.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I'm double checking.
We've moved over 300 sites this year that have been hacked on GoDaddy.
So, I
Because
mean,
once GoDaddy servers got hacked at the top level, it just bleeds down into the little sites. And it happened. And it's not just GoDaddy. We've moved HostGator, we've moved Ionos, we've moved Bluehost. If there's no site lock on the site, which prevents anything outside from writing to the files, if there's no site lock, you're screwed. And for GoDaddy to buy site lock, you got to pay an extra $300 a year, and there's no guarantees.
so even if you have a GoDaddy account, and listen, folks, we're not talking bad about GoDaddy.
No.
Don't think about
Buy your
that.
domains there, do your email there, do your hosting on SiteGround, because the security is that much better. And SiteGround doesn't limit your bandwidth. So if you have Taylor Swift on the podcast next week and you have 1 million visitors, your site won't go down.
She won't come on. She won't come on my show after.
Aww.
She won't come on because I don't like Travis Kelce. I think he's a punk after what he did with Justin Tucker during the.
It's all for show.
I mean, I'm just not. Are they even still together? I don't even know. Are they still together? It's been very quiet in the NFL with them too this year. Last year was like this big thing, but so what are some of the other now? Listen,
so if you're going to build your own website,
right,
and you don't care about anybody finding it except people you give your business card to, so they're going to type in direct, you can go buy a $100 a year Wix site, do drag and drop, build a site, you'll be fine.
That's
if you're trying to get people that don't know who you are to come into your website, you got to do WordPress. You have to have all of the roadways in so that the search engines can find you, that you can build your backlinks, you can build your content, you don't have a page count limit. I mean, WordPress is freeware. You can't beat it. You just have to pay for your hosting.
But WordPress, listen, as a guy who, I don't think I'm a tech idiot by no means. I understand technology. I can use technology. I think that's the great thing about us in Gen X, where we know how to use a rotary phone and we know how to use an iPhone. That's what makes us badasses. But at the same time, I think WordPress, for me personally, can feel overwhelming because you start getting into it and it's like, well, we need this add-on and we need that add-on and we need this thing. And it's like, how do I get this thing? Are those extras necessary or is it just more?
It all just depends on what you're trying to do. You want to sell product, you need to add WooCommerce so you have a store. Again, more freeware. You're going to need a gateway. Some gateways are free. You can do Heartland payments for free. You want to use authorized.net, you got to pay them $80 a year for a plugin. You want to use PayPal? PayPal's free. It all depends on what you need. And that's why most people need, if not me to build the website, me to just give them some consulting so they get pointed in the right direction.
Just let Darcy build it. Listen, I know how to get onto my website. I know how to look at my website.
And when you want something changed, what do?
I send it to Darcy.
Yeah, you just email me, here, do this. Because it takes me 5 minutes, it's done, and you didn't make yourself crazy.
Because my problem is I've tried to do all these things myself, and I'm capable.
Do what you do well.
Yeah, that's why I just send it to Darcy.
I mean, I've got a master's degree. I still have an accountant and I have a bookkeeper, because just because I know how to do it doesn't mean I want to do it or I enjoy doing it.
Well, that whole bookkeeper and accountant thing, I try to explain that to people all the time when they're like, I do my I need to know all my numbers. Yes, you need to know all your numbers. 110% know all your numbers. But when it comes to a guy who can sit there and go, this is all I'm going to do all day. I understand tax law and I understand tax preparation. But my accountant always tells me, between my accountant and my bookkeeper, their job is to keep me out of jail and keep me. And I mean, it's blue collar jail, I guess.
You just keep the IRS at bay.
Yeah, they are the most evil organization. So, folks, again, check out what Darcy's got going. SEO Web Mechanics with an S.com. She can help you. Even if you're not in the capital region, you're one of my listeners and you're outside of the area. I know when Darcy and I first met, she talks about the dog trainer. There was some guy in like Arizona that she worked with getting like 250,000 impressions a month, some crazy number. And and able to keep his business going and keep his business running. If you want to plug him. I just remember it was like a dog thing out in Arizona.
I actually have several of them in Arizona.
Yeah. How did you get? I'm just curious now.
You start with one. You start with one, and again, I don't look for business. Business finds me, because once you understand that I am not the enemy, that I'm not just going to suck you dry and take your budget, that I'm actually going to fix what you're doing. The mechanic in me is going to clean up the mess, point you in the right direction, and make everything run on all 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, 8 cylinders, turbo, whatever you got. We'll make it run. And that's half the battle. And then if you hire someone in-house that's going to take over the management, we'll train them for you. We'll charge you for the time, but we'll train them for you so that you're not going to lose your momentum. Well, and we're one of the few companies out there that will educate you and or train your staff, because we want you to succeed.
How many budget blinds are you up to now? 4 or 5 now?
Half a dozen, maybe.
See, and I just, for any of my fellow budget blinds owners that's listening or ends up going back and listening to this, I can tell you right now, one of the things that she found on multiple of us was servicing 18 to 24-year-old males with ads for window treatments through your SEM.
Oh, worse. All the apps you were running on, all the in-app advertising on gaming apps, on little kid apps.
Guess what? They're not buying
that toddler gaming app is not gonna.
Oh, did Darcy just freeze on me, or did I freeze on Darcy?
No, you're good.
One of us.
I don't know.
One of us froze, but yeah, gaming app is not the place where we're selling window treatments at. So take the time and see what she's got going on. All right, we're gonna make it.
We'll do the diagnostic. We'll give you the audit on. If you're doing pay-per-click, let us do an audit and at least get you pointed in the right direction. You can keep your current provider. Give me an hour to tell you where the problems are. Take my report, give it to your provider. They'll clean it up. Well, they'll be embarrassed as hell, but they'll clean it up.
That was one of the biggest things you did for me. Was I was running it on my own. I was set up and just turned it over to you. And during the conversation, as we're talking, you're fixing things. You're like, let me get in here for a second. Because you're a whack job, like I'm a whack job. When people start talking to me about things, I'm like, well, let me just.
I gotta get in there. Let me fix it.
Just let me look at your window for a second, and I can just fix this right now. Like, you don't need me. You don't need to buy nothing from me. Let me just fix it real quick, and then we can move on. Yeah, you're that same whack job that I am. Like, that's what we do. What do you think it makes us do that? Why do we do that, Darcy?
Yeah, I think our mothers were a little bit rough on us. We're trying to make everybody happy.
That might be it. Like, we just want to see people get it done.
I just want to see them succeed.
That's it.
See,
I'm a Zig Ziglar fan. You remember Zig?
Yes, I have one of his books still in my shelf.
Yeah, I'm a big Ziglar fan, and he always used to say, help enough people get what they want, and you'll get what you want. And I still believe it.
I don't breathe. I can work 8 days a week, and I don't have to make a cold call. I never have to solicit anybody. If you need help, ask. I will find a way to fit you in and at least get you pointed in the right direction, whether you use us or not. You need a website. I just did a little nonprofit website for $345. Nobody else is going to touch that business. She got her website done 2 nights ago.
And she'll tell 100 people. She'll tell 100 people. Mm-hmm. That's another thing real quick, folks, I want to throw out there to you. If you're not picking it up from what Darcy and I are talking about, we're talking about, is SEO still a good marketing strategy? And if you listen to what we're telling you, yes, it is still should be part of your marketing strategy. It should still be part of your budgeting plan. But one of the other things, if you're not hearing it from both of us that we're telling you, is that working with that little person, like in my business, I have one of my peers, he won't go out and do somebody's house who needs one window. I'm not driving out there. I'm not wasting my time to do that. I'm the guy who goes, you just got one window? Okay. It's not going to be long for me to get out there. I'll come out. We'll take a look at it. We'll get you something taken care of. And I cannot tell you how many times one window has turned into 10 windows, or one window has turned into, let me introduce you, let me introduce you, let me introduce you. Because I was willing to make the trip out and I was willing to do the thing for a person. Mm-hmm. Is that something you see a lot in your, I'm willing to talk to them.
I'm actually willing to listen to them, which most of the time it's someone just trying to shove something down their throat and sell them. I don't want to sell you anything. I want to fix your problem. And if fixing your problem means you need to buy something, whether you buy it from me or not, that's your option. But let me at least get you pointed to the right solution. Because once you've got the right solution, at least wherever you buy it from, you're going to get the right results.
And that's your brand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
my name's on the wall. It's got to be. I stand behind it.
And that's another thing, real quick, simple thing. I remember a friend of mine. And this might sound crazy, but I like the fact that your business isn't Darcy Knapp SEO, because I learned this from a buddy of mine. Never name your business after yourself, folks, because then people only associate it with you. If you name it after something else, then they associate that as the brand. Have you ever heard that one?
Mine was done differently. So my corporation, my corp ID is Darcy Knapp Consulting Inc.
Mm-hmm.
SEO Web Mechanics is a DBA. It was done specifically that way because I was new to starting my own business, and I actually talked to a business consultant, talked to the expert, get the right advice. And he said, don't go out and brand with your name, because if you ever want to sell or divest, you don't want to sell your name because now someone else has control of it.
That's it. That's what a friend of mine taught me. Now we're gonna make a left turn for a second here, Darcy.
Yes.
It's very important. So one of the things that Darcy and I both enjoy is good hunting. She took a beautiful buck this year. She sent me a picture right away because I was sitting out in the woods and I missed one this year. And we're still looking to try to buy land. I'm still working on it.
I'm telling you, come sit with me. I got an empty tree stand.
I might sit with you next. Darcy, you're out in the area. You're very close to the area that we want to be in. And more that I spend time in like your area, Middleburg, I'm like, I just don't want to be in Albany County. That's my biggest thing. I don't want to own land.
I'm in Albany County.
Yeah, I don't want to own land in Albany County because that's a whole nother thing, folks.
Yeah, but you know what? 5 minutes away is Schoharie County.
I love So Scary County, as I refer to it. So Scary County. That's where we want to be at. So here's going to be my question for you. What is, either for you or Mr. Darcy, we'll call him just Mr. Darcy.
You're not the only one. It's pretty funny.
So do you have a go-to, like, deer is cut, it's ready? Do you have a cut and a meal that like is your first two from a fresh cut?
Yes.
What is it?
We did the tenderloin the first night. So I shot the deer Saturday. We got them back Sunday. We cooked them Sunday night. Hot frying pan. Okay. Caramelize the onions and the mushrooms. Leave them in the pan. Make a little room. Drop the tenderloin in and about 2 tablespoons of fresh bacon grease. So I had to make the bacon Sunday morning, so I had it available, the grease for Sunday night. 2 tablespoons of fresh bacon grease, about the same butter, and just sear it.
I like the sound of it.
Sear it, flip it, sear it again.
I'm gonna give you my favorite. You know what my favorite is, and every butcher looks at me unless they're really knowledgeable. Like I have 15 heads. I like bone-in neck roast.
See, I had it all ground. I had the neck ground.
Listen to me. Next time next year when you take one, because I know you're gonna take one every year. Bone-in neck roast.
See, and I always have it deboned because what I find is when I cook it, if the bone is in, that's when you get it. If you're gonna get gaminess, that's where you're gonna get it from.
I love a bone-in neck roast.
I'll make sure to get one cut for you next time.
Potatoes, carrots, everything. That's my favorite. That's our left turn for tonight, folks. We got to get a little bit of that in. We're a
little fresh garlic.
Well,
you want to get really off the Korean teriyaki because it's got a little zing to it.
Like bulgogi? Like bulgogi?
I don't know. Hannaford, Korean teriyaki. I don't know. Price chopper, wherever it came from. But it's teriyaki with a little bit of like chili. It's got some heat to it. Just put a little over the top. Well,
April won't let me forget. April won't let me forget, and I'll bring you garlic this year from the garden because we got about probably a good 160 bulbs sitting out there. Oh my God! Right, yeah, we always have way more than we need. I probably still got a big giant bowl upstairs right now. We just constantly have way more than we need. Well, look, folks, as I always say, if you're finding me through Darcy or Darcy through me, take the time, like, share, follow, do all the things. I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds like when your kids and your grandkids are watching videos and they're like, share, follow. Like, listen, hit those buttons. Following us on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and all those kind of things really truly does make a difference for me. It makes a difference for Darcy. I almost said Narcy. For Darcy. If you want to know what Darcy's got going on, again, SEOwebmechanics.com. You can also find her on LinkedIn at Darcy Knapp. She's on there. She's very approachable, very easy to get a hold of if you're in the capital region and you just have questions about your stuff. One of the great things that I like about Darcy is if it's something that she doesn't know, she knows somebody in that field that she can reach out to and say, hey, I don't do a ton with constant contact and SMS, but let me introduce you to a guy who that's what he does, and he's really good with it. Know what you're good at, be really good at it, and then go from there. So Darcy's been phenomenal with me and being able to do those kind of things. I just realized something, Darcy. I didn't send anybody emails for next week. Coming up next week, if you're still listening to us, we have a gentleman named John Olson. He's the author of Stranger Bridgerland book series. He spent over 30 years interviewing and studying the paranormal. He's been on a lot of shows coast to coast. We're going to be talking paranormal stuff next week. And as you know, anytime I talk paranormal, my show's probably going to jack up. Things are going to happen. We're going to have issues on the show. And Darcy will have to try to fix it. And then she's just going to tell me, Sean, there's nothing wrong with your website. And I'm just going to tell her it's the ghost. So make sure you're joining us there. Now, Darcy, don't log off on us. We have to talk for 1 minute after the show here.
Okay.
And now, as we do on every episode, and I know, and see, Darcy gets to see these shows every week. I send them all to her so she can upload them for us. The guest always gets the final word in every episode. So what is our final word tonight, Darcy?
Oh, a magic word?
Whatever you want it to be. It's up to you.
Shift happens.
Alrighty, folks. Be sure to push your stool. This has been a Second Front podcast presentation found on Apple, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found.